All right, while everyone is joining, let's do a quick recap of everything. All right, let's do a quick recap of everything from last week. So we did area of circles and volume.
Hello.
Hi, Sophia. How are you? Welcome. So I'm going to do a quick recap now. So let's do a quick recap, right? So recap. So we got the circle area. Okay, let's suppose I've got a cylinder. All right, I've got a cylinder that looks like this. And inside the cylinder, I have a, let me just see if I can draw it a little neater. I have a square, or let's say some kind of rectangle. All right, so it's a big metal block. Okay, it's a big metal block with a rectangular hole inside. With a rectangular hole inside. All right, and this rectangular hole is obviously going to have the same sort of, that's a diameter, right? So if I take that length, I can put it in there, you can see, and it will go towards the back there, and obviously it's going right through like that, and there's a line going up there. So you can see it's basically a space inside that you can go through. Okay, so we've got a cylinder and we've got a rectangular block that we've taken out from the cylinder. I want to calculate now. Let's say I've got this length over here to be 20 centimeters. I've got the diameter to be 10 centimeters from there to there. And let's say the rectangular block is 10 centimeters in length and 5 centimeters in width. All right, don't forget that that inner length there is 10 centimeters because it's a diameter, right? Let's just say it was a total of that amount. Okay, now obviously there's going to be some curvatures, etc., in here that maybe I have to consider or remove from it. Maybe I should have put a cylinder inside a rectangular block. That's also a possible option because it will be curved. Um, let's see if you can answer the following questions. So, question one, calculate the volume of the cylinder. And this is just it's not an, it's very inaccurate image. All right, so it's not exactly realistic. Okay, let's call it unrealistic as well. But let's say I remove a rectangle from there. Calculate the volume of the cylinder, question one. Then calculate the volume of the rectangular prism. And then step three, take the answer from question one and minus the answer from question two. And what do you get there? All right, so jump into that. And that's what it is. Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are well. Hi, Lucia. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Evo. Hi, Royale. Welcome. All right. Looking at this question here, let's see if you guys can jump in and see what you can do with that. Okay. All right, let's go through it now. So the first thing that we have is our cylinder. Now, when we're finding the volume of a cylinder, remember we got to take the area of the circle in front and multiply it by the depth to get the volume of the cylinder, right? So question one, the answer is going to look like this for question one. We're saying that volume is equal to area times depth. It's how deep. And remember, this area is cross-sectional area. So if you slice this, you'll have circles all the way through, right? Remember, this is in 3D. There's a hidden circle at the back there there's also this entire rectangle that's sort of chalking out over there. Okay. This image wasn't drawn accurately, so don't worry about that, because there is some kind of curvature over here, which we haven't accounted for. Okay. So I'm going to not complicate it and just pretend it's a rectangle for now. So this is going to be area, which is going to be pi times radius squared. The radius, remember, this is the diameter. That's the diameter. And remember, this is the depth. So that's 20. And the area of a circle is given by pi times radius squared. But my radius is then equal to half of my diameter. So my radius is equal to 5 centimeters. So 5 centimeters will be my radius. Okay. So pi r squared is going to be pi times 5 squared. We need the radius to get the area if we have the diameter. Multiplied by 20. We can keep it as pi depending on the question and round it off. It didn't really state any question, any rounding in this question. So I got 25 times 20, which is going to be 500 pi. All right, so that's going to get me to 500 pi. And if I multiply it by pi, or 500 times pi, will come to 1570.8. Okay, that's going to be the volume for question 1. Question 2 says calculate the volume of the rectangular prism. When you have a prism, okay, you're going to have some kind of length times breadth times height, or length times width times height. The length here is 10. The breadth or the width is 5. And the height or the depth is 10. So the depth is the same as the height in this case. It'll be 10. 10 times 5 is 50. 50 times 10 is 500. And that's going to be, by the way, centimeters cubed. Don't forget your units, because we are in volume to the power of 3. That's important. All right, the power of 3. Calculate the volume of the cylinder. Done. Calculate the volume of the rectangular prism. Done. Now let's subtract them. Let's take 1570.8 minus 500, and that's equal to 1070.80. All right, or 0.8. Okay, we could maybe round it to one decimal place, or if you round it to a whole number, you could have written that as well. And that's going to be centimeters cubed, which is more or less what I was looking for. If you got question 1 and 2, well done. All right, if you got those two, and if you got close to it or similar as well. Okay, I got 1570.8. I used pi from my calculator. You could have used 3.14. If you use 3.14, then your answer will change to 1570 without that, and it will come to 1570 minus that, which will come to 1070. All right, and that's if you use 3.14 for that calculation. Cool. All right, so if you can remember the area and the volume of a square-based pyramid, just type yes. Okay? I'm going to quickly do one question on this one. And let's say I got a square-based pyramid drawn over here. That's supposed to be a square. It's at an angle. Does it looks like a rectangle. And from here, I'm going to be drawing my slant heights. These are called slant heights. And inside, I am also going to give it a little bit of perpendicular height coming straight down. Perpendicular height over there. All right, don't forget that. That's the perpendicular height. And I've also got this length, remember, which is the same as that length. I could also create something to get the slant height from it. and then end up using Pythagoras theorem, right? So this is the perpendicular height, and this is, let's say this is 8 centimeters, and this is 8 centimeters. Let's say the height is given to me as, I don't know, let's say 8 centimeters as well. Okay, so I've got, I can work out the base area, and I can also work out using the height, the volume. Now let's get the formulas for surface area quickly. So surface area of this object was given by base area plus the area of all the other heights everywhere else, right? So base area plus, you can call it lateral area, and that's the triangles, right? This is the square. And we have 6 of these, right? We have 4 of these triangles. We have 4 of these triangles. So one in front here, one on the right, one on the left, one at the back. And when we add it up, that's what the surface area will become. We then also have our volume calculation. The volume calculation is given by base area multiplied by the perpendicular height multiplied by a third. I want you to first find the volume with the information we have over here and type it in. All right, remember, pause the video, work it out, try it out. When you're done with that, you can jump onto the surface area, and I'm going to call it B. By the way, I'm going to label this length 5.65. All right, so it's 5.66 actually. Centimeters is the length from the center to the end. So remember, this is the center C of this entire square. So that's 5.66 from there to there, which means that this is my hypotenuse. And I can then use Pythagoras theorem to calculate that. If I know this is 8, that's 5.66. I can get my hypotenuse, which is my slant height, if I need it. But at the same time, what I do actually need is I need this height over here from there. So maybe I should give you that amount first as well. All right, let me just quickly undo that before I give you information that you don't need. No. So I don't confuse you, I'm going to take those out. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to give you this length over here, which is actually supposed to be cutting this in half somewhere. 90 degrees, so it's supposed to be cutting it exactly in half, so that you can get this height, which is from there to there, because that's going to give me the height of the triangle. If I have that, I can then find those 4 lateral triangles. That's one of them. There's my base, and that will be my perpendicular height. So that's the height that I want you to try and use Pythagoras theorem to find. So I'm going to give you the base number to work with in a bit. Keep going. Okay, so this over here is 3.99. Okay, so this is 3.99 centimeters, which is about 4 centimeters. So let's round it to 1 to the nearest unit, right? So 4 centimeters over there. Don't forget, this height is 8 centimeters. I just rewrote it. And what you need to do is use those two and Pythagoras theorem to find this hypotenuse in this triangle. And why do you want to do that? You want to do that because when you calculate this area, you're going to need base times height divided by 2. And that height over there is the hypotenuse. So you end up with some kind of right angle triangle that looks like that. And you have 4 centimeters over here, 8 centimeters over here, and that h, which is that one over there. Over there, using Pythagoras Theorem, remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'll give you a few seconds. There's a bit of hints around that. Don't forget the base area is pretty easy, right? It's 8 times 8. So let's see if you can complete that. Base area is 8 times 8. The height over here was 8 times 1 over 3. Put that on a calculator. Get me some answers over there. All right, send those answers through for A and B once you have them, okay? If you don't have a calculator, leave your answer in its most simplest form that you can get it in. All right, super. Let's go through it now. So thanks for those answers, for those that came through. So this is going to be 8 times 8. This is 64. Plus my base over here, remember, is 8. Because I want to work out this triangle over here. So I have 4 of these, remember? So it's 4 of those, okay? So 4 times base, which is 8, times height, which is the hypotenuse. Now to find the hypotenuse, I got to take 4 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. That'll become 16 plus 64, which is 80. So therefore, if I square root it, the square root of 80 comes to 8.9. Okay, so 8.9 will be the size of C. I then divide it by 2, multiply it by 4. Let me work it out that way. So 8 times 8.9 divided by 2, multiplied by 4, plus 64, all on a calculator comes to 206.4. 206.4, there's obviously going to be rounding. So we're looking at plus minus. I'll just put a plus minus because I know some of you have rounded and got slightly close to this answer, 206 point something, or even around there. The next one you got here is 8 times 8 times 8 divided by 3. 8 times 8 times 8 divided by 3 comes to 170.67. 170.7, let's say. Don't forget this is centimeters cubed. This is the inside, right? Volume is the inside of a shape. It's what can be contained inside it. Surface area, and just remember volume is related to capacity. Surface area is on the outside. Okay, this is the outside. So that's the square base and the triangles, and there's 4 of them over there. Okay. So 64 plus 16 is square root of 80. If I had to leave this as square root of 80 in my calculator, 8 times root 80, how will my answer change? Let's have a look quickly. So that's going to be 71.55 now divided by 2 times 4 plus 64. It'll come to 207.1. So 207.1. If you've rounded, more or less, those answers are the ones I'm looking for. Okay, well done to those that got it right. Let's jump into evaluating expressions. Straight to this one here. Evaluating expressions. Using that there. All right, let me just sign in here. All right, it says, find the first 4 terms of the sequence defined below. All right, type your answers in. What do you think that would be? I'll give you a second I'll give you a chance to try it first. Okay. We'll do a few of these and a little bit of word problems. So what's happening in this one here? We're literally taking that 1 and we're replacing n with it. And it says start with n equals 1. Find the first 4 terms. So that means n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, and n equals 4. Where n represents the position of the term in the sequence. So n equals 1 will give you 2 to the power of 1, which is 2. N equals 2 will give you 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. Then we have 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. And 2 to the power of 4 is 16. If you got that, good. Let's have a look if it's correct. We got 3 more to go. Try the next one. Use substitution. Read the question very carefully. All right, let's go through it. Let's go through it now. So we can see that if I make n equal to 1, it's going to be 8 times 1 is 8. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Then we have negative 8 times 2 plus 4, which is negative 16. Negative 8 times 3 plus 4, negative 24 plus 4, which is negative 20. And if I put that in there, I got negative 4, negative 12, and negative 20. Well done, Ishwan. Well done, Sophia. Well done. All right, let's make this one the last one. We'll go on to the next one, U7. Press pause and try it. All right, I got a suggested answer coming through here. I'm going to type it in. Negative 9, negative 16, negative 23, negative 30, and negative 37. If you're happy with that, type agree. If that makes sense to you and you agree with it, type agree. All right, I got negative 6 should be negative 16. Oh, I typed it in wrong. I typed it in wrong. Negative 16. I copied up wrong there. Hold on. Cool. Let's do this last one. I was wanting to do 4. Let's just go ahead and do this last one. Try it out, okay? Press pause, try it. The brackets mean multiply. 3 times 4 to the power of n. Okay, I've got a suggested answer here. 12, 48, and 192. If you're happy or you agree, type A or H. All right, I got an agree there. It was 3 times 4 to the power of n. So you had to go 4 to the power of 1 times 3, 4 to the power of 2 times 3, 4 to the power of 3 times 3, etc., etc. All right, let's go to U7 now, or U5, just to make sure that we understand a little bit of reading when it comes to number sequences and a little bit of word problems. Reading is very important. All right, so let's have a look at one question from here. Have a read on this question and then type your answer that you think is correct. Press pause. I've got an answer already. Okay, keep them coming. All right, that should be more than enough time. I got the answer, 90 points. Devin got a new video game. All right. Okay, anyone else agree with that? Just type agree. And then we can move on. Otherwise, let's go through it. Devin got a new video game. He scored 45 points on the first level. So let's put that down. Let's write it down. So we got 45. Then we got 54 points on the second level. And how do we go from there to there? Plus 9. Is there any pattern with the next one? 63 plus 6 plus 3. Yeah, plus 9. If the next one is plus 9, then we know we're plusing 9 each way along the way. So it's going to be plus 9. Yep. So how many points will Devin score on the 6th level if the 5th level is 81, which is plus 9? So we should get to 90. Okay. And that's what that answer would be. Shall we try another one? Type A if you want to try this one, or N if you want to go to next one, next type of question. All right, let's get out of here. We go to U7 now. Write variable expressions for arithmetic sequences. Now you got to create an expression in terms of n for this. Let's see if you can remember this if we've done it before. I think we have, but if you can't, I'll give you a few seconds to try. All right, now if I'm going 5, 10, 15, 20, I'm going to be jumping by fives over here, right? So I'm going to be jumping from 5 to 10 plus 5. Now watch carefully how I work this out, right? So if I've got 5 and I plus 5, I get 10, then I plus 5, then I get 15, and when I plus 5, I will get 20. So 5 in is what I'm plussing by. Now, the next thing you have to look at is how far is this from the first term? And at the moment, there is a distance of 0 if I have to go from there to there, from the difference, from the first difference to the first term, which means that 5 in will be my answer. Now, why? Because if n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, and n is equal to 4, and I substitute it in here, this will be 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4. So you can see 5 times whatever number is increasing by 1, it's incrementing. And that will become 5, 10, 15, and 20. So therefore 5n is the general formula that we are looking for this one here. All right, so 5n over there. Try the next one. Press pause and try it. All right, let's go through it now. If you're still not understanding it, let's see if you can get it. Now, this is the way I think would be the easiest way to see this. You got 2, 3, 4, and 5. First thing you got to do is find the first difference. Okay, that's going to be 1, 1, 1. Put that number in front of n. Okay, then once you've done that, then only see how far it is to go from there to there. So if you're going to go from 1 to 2, how do you get there? You're going to plus 2. No, you're going to plus 1. Plus 1, right? So 1 plus 1 gets you the first term, which is 2. Always go to the first term. Don't go to the second or the third. Go to the first term from the first difference. And the number that you go by, put that number plus 1, put it next to that. And that'll give you n plus 1. And that'll be the formula. And we can test it, right? If n is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4, if I put 1 in there, 1 plus 1 is 2. If I put 2 in there, 2 plus 1 is 3. If I put 3 in there, 3 plus 1 is 4. If I put 4 in there, 4 plus 1 is going to give me 5. So this is going to be n plus 1. I'm going to use a small n. Hey, make a note of that. Last one. Try this one. Press pause. All right, let's have a look at this one. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the difference, remember, as we're moving. So we're going to have the following. We're going to first have to go. How do we go from there to there? We minus 55. Then we compare that to the first term. And to go there, I had to plus 0. So I put minus 55 with an n plus 0. So I'm looking at minus 55n as my answer there. Type A if you want to do another one. Type N if you want to go to the next thing. Type A if you want to do another one of these. Or type N if you want to try the next one. One more time if you want. Okay. All right, if you're ready to move on, let me know. Just type in for next if you want to move on. Okay, I got someone who's would like to.